Hello and welcome to another video from me, Rough Swordsman, Wargamer. This is part one of a new playthrough of a game I've been wanting to get onto the channel for a while, and it is, of course, Combat Volume 1 from Compass Games, designed by Ross Mortell. And because I'm fairly new to this system, I thought I'd try Introductory Scenario 1, a meeting of patrols. And here it is, so let's get it set up. So here's the setup, and luckily this first scenario, Introductory Scenario 1, a meeting of patrols, only uses about half the map. And apologies for some of the strange shadows we're getting. It's a very overcast day here in merry old England. But that does mean I've got room to set up the other bits and pieces and the cards and all the counters we'll need. So here's the scenario. So, a meeting of patrols, the date June 1944, location France. We're using the Hedgerows map, only columns 18XX through 35XX, in other words from here to the edge. So, as I said earlier, just about half the map. Here's the enemy forces that we sort out, and I've got those all in here in our well-known bag of doom. And this is where we're going to place 12 of those. Here are our forces, and we can choose one of those options, and I'll show you which one I went for in a moment. Rules about the board edges and special rules. Being an introductory scenario, there are no events when the event card is picked. Just keeps it simple. If we do pick one of those, we stop, shuffle it back in along with any discards that are there, and draw again. Across the page, they're all alert, normal morale, so they're ready to receive orders, and we're normal morale as well. The enemy are prepared, and starting hand 3 cards. We'll get those in a moment. And our characters can set up in any hex located within the triangle formed by those hexes. And for the first turn only, instead of using the cards to draw the German orders, they are randomly rolled on this little table here. We've got some reinforcements coming in turn 4. Game length 7 turns. In this scenario, enemy characters may exit the board via any edge, and they'll get some victory points for that. And here they are. And here we've got some hexes that if we pass through, as the Americans will get some victory points, 4 of them. So we'll set those up as well. And here's the victory levels. Right, let's get it set up. Right, let's get the enemy characters set up. As you're probably aware, there's 2 sides, the unspotted side and the spotted side. So they all go in here, mix them up, and when we draw them, we have to make sure we pull them out the bag with the unspotted side. So I'll do the first group, and then we'll use the magic of video editing to do the other 2. So the first one's going in 2205, which is here. $23.05, another red one. $24.05. Oh crikey, they're all red. I'm shuffling them up. And $24.06, which is blue one, just below. Now at the moment all we can see is this number 4, and that is their morale, which will be used a heck of a lot in this game along with our chaps. So let's set the other 2 groups up. There are the other 2 groups, but hold on. So that's our setup for the Germans. Next we'll have a look at the friendly forces, and I've gone for option 2, so we'll have a look at those chaps. So here they are, Baker and Charlie, They are on their unspotted side. Of course, we can see them, but the Germans can't fire at them unless they're spotted. And the way to tell, as I have trouble with the colours, is that their unspotted side have their team, in this case Baker, in black. When they are spotted, it's white. It's also the back of the counter as well. So let's have a quick look at these numbers in case you are unfamiliar with the game. Red one at the top, or the red box with the white number, that's their troop quality for morale checks and the like. Corporal Thomas has a black square with a white number in. That's his leadership value, which will help when we need to get more cards. We'll see how those work in a moment. We're going to pick 3 for this scenario because we need to place a card every turn for our initiative. If we want to get some more into our hand, we do a planning order, which is conducted by a leader, and that number will help us, hopefully, to get some more cards. It's also useful for rallying other troops. And down the side, we've got 2 or 3 white circles with numbers. And this is pretty easy to understand. The number is next to the weapon, so that's that person's weapon skill with their main weapon. And the one underneath is their grenade skill, if you like. Corporal Thomas, though, has an extra one. He's also got a handgun. I'll have to check, but I think you can use that if you run out of ammo, in this case with his grease gun. These don't run out of ammo either, so that's quite handy, but not such a great distance to shoot. So that's the troops. Let's see where we're going to place them. So we're going to place these teams, and we're told by the scenario the area we can start them off in, and it's from this hex down to the bottom, and in that triangle we can place our troops. But what I like to do, and believe me, I'm no expert, so as always, the caveat when you're watching my videos, they're not tutorials in high-class tactics. It's just me having fun playing the game. But we're going to place Charlie team, and I think we'll have Corporal Thomas here, and then we'll come down. These are lovely big counters. And for Baker team, we'll have them a bit further down. My thinking is, of course, we're going to move up and try and deal with those Germans that are there, and then maybe come across, while these are going to move up here. Oh, I've just realised I haven't marked the victory hexes. We'll do that in a sec. But we'll put Baker team now. Private Goldstein's got the old BAR. So we'll probably want him to get into this building. So let's put them there. Woodruff and Miller, he's got a slightly better hand grenade skill. So as I say, moving up here, moving along and across. Let's hope that works. Right, let's show you where these victory hexes are. We've got one here, and to claim the victory points, the scenario says we just have to move through it, that hex. Another one right up here. One here. And this confused me a bit. Watching early videos of this game, sort of first edition, it was in the building, but for some reason they've changed it and put it outside. And the last one right up here. So that's our victory points. Hope you can see those. We've got to get our cards. So down here is our deck of cards. I have, honestly, Governor, shuffled them, and it says we can have 3. We know they're ours. There are 2 types. Basically, you've got discards and orders. Orders, when we play this will happen. These discards don't happen when we play them to the initiative. We can discard that during one of our impulses, and then that's what happens. So we've got to be careful. What have we got here? Oh dear, trip. So when we play this for our initiative, one random from Team A, but luckily we haven't got Team A. We've got B and C, Baker and Charlie, so that won't apply. So that might be a good one to play first, although that's quite high. This other order, no leaders may be given the plan order this turn. This is what I mentioned earlier, this plan order you use when you're running out of these cards. We will get one every turn, but we might want a few more to make a choice. That means we can't do that, so that might be worth playing early, but again, the numbers here are quite high. And this discard, if we play it when it's our initiative, what's he doing? Choose one friendly character. They may act immediately, either take one aimed shot or move one hex. Probably won't do this, but those are our cards. Next thing is to set up the direction compass, and I've made my own because in the game it's a sort of square, big square counter, but I find this makes a little bit easier to read. And it says place it right up here. So we'll leave it there for a moment. We may bring it down in case we can't see it when I'm videoing. But the number 1 has to point towards hex 1801. So that's the directions of the orders for the Germans. And then we have this wind counter, which will give us the direction of smoke and that sort of stuff. So we need to throw a 6-sided die and put that wind counter in relation to this. So quickly get that done. Number 6. The wind is going to go that way and the smoke will be coming down in that direction of the battlefield. Next it says randomly give the enemies their orders from this table. So we'll do that in a moment, but if we look at the sequence of play, it says the player, that's me, must now play one card from his hand to the initiative track. What we're going to do now is set up the order of play per impulse. And what we do for that is we'll play one of our cards. This early on, I don't think it matters much. We'll play this one. So that will give Baker initiative of 92 and Charlie 68. This won't apply. I don't think I'll be doing the plan order. But that goes down here. We'll have a close-up of that in a moment. So those 2 cards we'll use in the subsequent turns. Now we have to decide the initiative of the Germans. And normally, as you'll see from turn 2 onwards, when we do this, we'll also give them their orders from the cards. But the first time, as you saw earlier, it's done for turn 1 on a table. But let's see what the initiative for turn 1 is going to be. So we take one of the cards. There's the German initiative number. That's quite low. And we'll do it in the order here, red and then blue. So the red team have got an initiative of 17. And the blue just took it from the wrong deck, 41. Now we can work out the order of play. So let's have a quick zoom down to this. So 17, obviously the lowest number. So red is going to go first, and that goes up there. 41. What have we got here? Baker 92, Charlie 68. So yeah, it looks like the Germans are going to go first. And then Charlie and Baker. This is just showing us the impulses. The turn we're on, turn 1, 7 turns, and I've made this little counter up to remind me we've got some German reinforcements turning up. These, in case you're wondering, are just used for things like melee, where we can plop that onto the hex and then pop the units involved in the melee in that box to give us a bit of room. So next we have to give our Germans their orders, and this just means rolling a d6 and looking up on that table. And what I tend to do is do it in initiative order, so red will get their orders first and then the blue team. So let's do that. Let's pop that there, and we're doing the red team first, and the rules say work from top to bottom, left to right. So I'll do a couple and then I'll use the magic of video editing to do the rest, to save you watching me roll dice and plop the orders on. But as you can see, for the first turn anyway, they're pretty similar things, just differences in the directions. So let's do that. First one is going to be this red up here. You get a 4, and that is an evade 6. There we are. And I warn you now, there are a load of these orders, so you have to work out some way to sort them out. But there we are, evade 6. Next would be this one. Two, and that is an evade 6-5. There we are. So you get the idea, and we'll plop the others on the remaining red team and the blue team, and then we can carry on. And there we are, by the magic of video editing. We've given them their orders, and I've just realized I should have given the Americans their orders first, because if the Germans are given their orders, you might game it a bit. But rather than starting again, as you'll see, nothing much is going to happen, at least in the first couple of impulses, and the Americans will just be moving up. So let's put that right and give the Americans their orders now. In subsequent turns, you'll just go through the sequence of play and it will tell you to place the American orders first. So forgive me for that. But what I'll do is give them all evade, and just like the German orders, they've got this little -A, which means no firing is allowed. They're just moving up. So we'll do that for every American. Yeah, I'm using tweezers because these games aren't cheap, and I don't want to build up the sort of oil onto the counters. I know, but hey, that's me. There we are. Setup is complete, I believe. We are now ready to start Impulse 1, and that's going to be the German red team. Let's see what they're doing. Okay, we're ready for the red team to move. And just in case you're not familiar with these orders, here's an evade 2-3, split into 4 segments for the 4 impulses. And in this case, in the first impulse, that unit will move in the direction of 2, whichever the compass says. Second one is for 3, and then we're back to 2, and then 3 for the last one. The -A means that no firing is allowed, and all the units have got that type of order. So they're just maneuvering for this turn. Things may change for the Germans, especially the next turn. So let's get going. I've just moved this down a little bit so we can see the 2 directions. In this case, it's 6 and 5. So 6 is going off this way. 5 is coming straight down. Oops, that's moved. That's there. Right. Top to bottom, left to right. So the first one will be this evade in direction of 6. So that will move actually on top. Just move it there because the other one's going to be moving in a minute. And I use these little cubes, I know, but when I move away from this table and come back, I've probably forgotten who's moved and who hasn't. So it just to remind me of who's doing what. Also, we have to check to see if that unit that has moved now has line of sight to, in this case, any Americans. But as you probably can see, this is coming through the hedgerow, which is blocking. These are all blocked, going to be blocked. We've got trees, we've got rocks, we can't see through them. These are going to be blocked by those rocks. Logs are a little different. You can see through these and will hide a character, as the game calls these units, only if it's got a certain type of order where it's sort of hunched down behind them so you can't see them. But for now, this is blocked by these hedges, so no line of sight. Next would be the one on the top. This is also moving in the 6 direction. He says knocking that off again. This one, though, might have line of sight with some of these Americans down here. Let's just move the camera a bit. This will get easier to video as we go on. But this one here is looking at these two, which you can just see. This will go through the logs, I think. This is not a hill, this is a depression. So we can see over that. Hills have a solid line going around them. So let's see if we can see this laser. So we can see this one. And this one is going through the logs, but they only block, if I'm reading this right, if one of the characters has an order that will make it crouch down to be hidden. And those orders are sneak, hide, rally, or reload. These have got evade. The Americans have got evade orders. So yes, I think they can be seen. Again, this is another depression. Whoop, let's put that back there now. So this one is going to try and see if it can spot this one, because we can't fire, well, the Germans can't fire unless they're spotted. So how many hexes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 hexes away. We now look on our sheet for spotting. 14 hexes will give us a -1. We now look and see what order the American has got. It's got an evade order, and the terrain it's in is clear. So looking on the chart, evade in the open is a +1, which will cancel out that -1. And he has to now do a troop quality check on his morale, which is 4. So he needs to throw a 4 or less. Where am I going to put that? Put it there for a minute. 3. He's only gone and spotted him. So we can turn this one over. The numbers are the same. It just now means that he's spotted. The team letters are now in white. It's a different colour, but as you probably know, I'm colourblind, so it's nice that they've put that in to distinguish the two sides. He's also, I think, having a go at this one down here, which we can just see. Going through those logs, but let me know if I'm not doing this correctly. They'll only hide if they've got those certain orders I mentioned just now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Once again, evade in the open. It's the same as before. 14 hexes away is a -1. He's got an evade in the open, which is a +1. They cancel each other out. So once again, a 4 or less. Crikey, he's got good eyesight. Yes, a 0 is 0. Goodness me. So he is spotted. He can now be fired upon when the Germans get a fire order. But that's him done. Before we move on, just cutting in here because, as you've noticed in the video, I put a comment that when an enemy successfully spots one of our friendly characters, we have to check if it's actually a unit and not a dummy, because we can see there are dummies in the mix. And if it is a dummy, of course, they haven't spotted our chaps. So we just have a quick sort of look and see, yeah, that's a real one. So everything is tickety-boo. They were spotted. And we can get back to the video. Who's next will be this one. He's moving down 5. But he's not going to be able to see anything. They're going through the rocks here, the trees. Yeah, these rocks are blocking these. The hedgerow here, the hedges, blocking those, I do believe. Next would be this one. Sneak, though. The first impulse has a 0, which means they don't move. Excuse me. He stays there. Evade, 6-5. He's going to move across. We'll just pop him there for a minute. Once again, we can't see anybody coming through the hedges there. Nothing. And this one is evading. This is coming down to here. So they're both done. So no line of sight for him either. This is in the way. Lastly, we've got a sneak 6. That's got a 0. So he's not moving. And he can't see anything anyway. Right, we're on to the blue team now. So the first one is this one. This is evading across to this unit's space. I'll pop it there and give that another little cube to tell me that they both had a go. Again, going through the rocks, nothing to be seen, I believe. This one's got a sneak, and the first impulse is a 0, so that will stay where it is. We've just got, whoops, there we are. We've now got an evade 6. So this one will go, let's just move that out of the way for a moment. Check line of sight. No, that's going through the rocks. And this line of sight doesn't use hex sides. So if there's a blocking terrain on one and a non-blocking terrain on the other, that has nothing to do with it. It's not blocked. So we can't see anything here. Going through the rocks, through the trees, through the building. And this is hitting that hedge there. There, going through the rocks. Yeah, rocks and hedge. And then this one is moving across here. And oh, did I not move this one? That's an evade 6. That's going on top of this one. Can't see anything through the rocks and the hedge. Right, hope I've done that right. It is now Charlie, followed by Baker. Yes, as I mentioned in the comment just a second ago, got distracted and completely messed up the last couple of units. This is now how it should be. And as you can see, they still don't have any line of sight to the two teams of Americans. So once again, sorry about that. Back to the video. So it's now Charlie and Baker to move. They've got evade orders, so we're just going to be moving these up. We won't need the cubes for these because they're in different parts of the map. So that's Charlie. And just to finish off, we're going to move Baker. I think we'll move these up and then over to the right. First, we'll do this. Now, you can see that one. Oh, yes, it's missing that hedge here. So let's see if we can get our own back and spot that German. We know is a real one, not a dummy. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He has, excuse me, an evade in the open. So the distance is a -1. Evade in open +1. That cancels out. He has a troop quality of 3. Unfortunately, we need a 3 or less. 7, no. However, this one will move up and try and spot him as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's the same, -1 for the distance, +1 for his situation, evade and in the open. And he has troop quality of 4, a bit better. 4 or less. No, 7 again. Oh dear. And then lastly, we'll just move up Private Goldstein with the BAR to there. And that's it. Everybody has moved. What happens now is we'll remove my cubes. There we go. And we'll move the impulse marker over to number 2. And we do it again, starting, of course, once more with the German red team. So here we go. And apologies for some of the glare we're getting off the plexi. It's gone really dark and dingy here in merry old England, so I've had to put some extra lights on. So we'll start with this red one at the top here. He's got an evade 6, so he's moving here. And they've already been spotted. Can't see any of those yet. So he's done. This one will move into the hole. There's a depression there. But again, can't see anything. This hedge is now blocking him, so nothing for him. This one will move straight down to here. And there's one under here, isn't there? He's moving down, evade 5. Rocks in the way for him. Evade 6, 5, he's coming across. Maybe trying to guard this victory point. No, done that wrong. He's coming down. He's a 6-5. So in the second impulse, he's coming down here. This one is coming across because he's got a 5-6. And lastly, there's a sneak 6, but in the second impulse, they can move. So over he comes. That is the red team done, the red Germans. Now for the blue, up here we've got a 6 evade, so coming down there. Again, nobody in sight. As I keep saying, this first turn is just manoeuvring. This is a sneak 6. Second impulse will allow him to move. Got an evade 6-5, so in the second impulse he's coming down into those trees. This one is moving across into the rocks. Again, nothing to be seen. They've already been spotted anyway. This one's hidden by these rocks. Then evade 5. Again, hedgerows and buildings in the way. Okay, that's the Germans. Now we're just moving the Americans. Pretty straightforward. They're going to continue moving up with Charlie. Baker, I think, will now start to move these maybe over to the right a bit. Again, they're blocked. Trees are blocking. Don't think Private Woodruff can see anything. We can never go at those two, can't he? No, we can't see him. He's in an hole. You can see him. 12 away now. Again with an evade in the open. Still a -1 for the distance and the +1 for the evade in the open. That's as is. He's got a troop quality of 3, I'm afraid. Let's see if he can spot him this time. Yes, he does. Yep, that's okay, just making sure. Oh no, this one's a dummy. This is the one that was real. That's our first dummy. We can remove that. Well done, that man. And that is the end of Impulse 2. We'll just remove the cubes. There we are. We're ready for Impulse 3. So once again, it's red. This one is at the top. We're in Impulse 3, so that's going to be a 5. He comes out of his hole into the hedge. Still can't see anything. Here we've got a sneak. So in the third impulse, doesn't move. We've got an evade 5 here. Just quickly check in. I don't think anybody can see anybody else. We've got an evade 6-5. So that's going to move here. And this one is evade 5-6, so the third impulse moving down. Lastly, another sneak, and in the third impulse doesn't move. There we are, that's red done. Blue, evade 6, moving across. They've been spotted. Nobody can fire anyway with these orders. Sneak 6, third impulse, nothing happens. Evade 6, coming across. Ooh, we might get exposed next turn. Evade 6-5 is 6 for the third impulse. Again, nothing. We've got those rocks in the way, haven't we? Quick check. Yeah, those rocks. And lastly, this cheeky one sneaking down round the back of the building. There we are. Obviously can't see anything because the hedge. So it's our boys. We're moving up, up, up. Baker. Yeah, we might want to try and spot. Yeah, might want to try and spot him. We'll just move up. I think if he moves here, yeah, we're going to be able to see him. That's a depression. See over the top of that, of course. Into the trees, along the hedge. There we are. That is Impulse 3. And it's time for the last impulse of turn 1. Impulse 4 with the reds. This is first sneak 5. Fourth impulse we can move. So down it comes. Six, 5 evade, so 6, 5, 6, 5. Evade 6, 5. We'll move down for the last impulse here. And the one underneath will move down. Oops, done it out of sequence, but never mind. 5 coming down here. All starting to happen now. Sneak 6 can move for the fourth impulse over there. Again, can't be seen. And that's it. Blues. Sneak 6. They're all moving over there. They seem to sense our boys are coming round that way. Evade 6. They've already been spotted. Evade 6. We're going to have a go. See if we can spot him. He's coming straight down for his last impulse. Evade 6, 5. Can't be seen because of these rocks. And this cheeky chappy is still coming round the corner there of the building. Okay, it is Charlie and Baker. I think that's everything. Yep. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to move him into the trees and move these across because he can now see this one and this one. Yeah. So come on, Private Woodruff, with your 3 troop quality. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And evade in the open. That's a bit better. That's a 0 now. And evade gives us our +1. So he needs a 4 or less. Two, yes. What have we got? Oh, it's a real one. Soldat Wolf is now fully visible. You can also see this one. 1, 2, 3. That's got to be worth, yes, that's worth a +1. But he's an evade in the hedge, which is going to knock it down. to a -1. So again, as is. This time though, 3 or less. Oh, he only goes and does it. Let's see what we got here. No, it's a proper one. Sold at pole. So he's done. These are going to move across here. And that is the end of Impulse 4. And indeed, the end of turn 1. So things are starting to happen now. They've spotted a couple of our boys, but we've got our own back. We can see 2 of the enemy encroaching upon us. So just to finish off, as it's the end of the turn, all the orders are removed. And we move the impulse back to number 1, move the turn marker up to turn 2. Things are starting to happen now. Next turn, new orders for us, and we'll be using the cards to find out what the Germans are going to do. So that I always find a little bit exciting, because you never know what you're going to pick order-wise. But I think this is a convenient place to stop. And I've just noticed that's got moved again. It's that cat, I tell you. One last thing to do is just get rid of these cards, put them in the discard pile ready for next turn. As I've just said, the exciting bit, we're going to be picking cards from the German pack to see what their orders are. But I think we'll leave it there. Hopefully Milo the cat will leave my counters alone, ready for the next time. As I say, I'm still learning the game. It's a little bit fiddly for me with the movement, because videoing and trying to move them in the correct direction can be a bit taxing for poor old Ruff, but I hope we caught all the little mistakes there, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and you haven't done so already, it would be great if you would consider subscribing to the channel. Really does help. And pushing the like button of the video, the thumbs up, tickles the algorithm. And if you want to be informed of other content the channel uploads, then push the bell. But make sure you push all notifications. Otherwise, YouTube may forget to tell you. Thanks as always to my, at the time of recording this video, over 5,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. Thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate it. And as I always say, I encourage you to leave a comment. What do you think? Hopefully, as the videos go on, it'll get a bit smoother, but it's cracking fun, this game. But what do you think? Let me know. I love to read them. And quickly, just one last thing. If you wish to support the channel a little bit further, well, now you can. You can buy the channel a coffee, and there's a link for that in the description. Or if you prefer, you can push the old super thanks button. If you decide to do that, those donations really help the channel to keep ticking along. So thank you. Right then, what's in store for the Baker and Charlie teams in the next video? Hope you can join me to find out. But until then, as always, you take care and goodbye.